Most people wake up already irritated. Before coffee, before sunlight, before life even happens. Someone cuts them off in traffic, boom, blood pressure up. A coworker says something slick, boom, mood ruined. A text doesn't get answered fast enough, boom, mind spiraling. And the wild part? They call this normal. Stoics had a different word for it. Weak. Not weak as an insult, weak as in untrained. Undisciplined, untamed. Because if someone else can push a few emotional buttons and hijack your inner state, you're not in control. You're rented. This video isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them, so nobody can live rent-free in your head ever again. If you actually internalize these 5 habits, not just hear them, not just nod along, but live them, you'll reach a point where insults bounce, disrespect dissolves, and chaos loses its grip on you. You don't react, you respond, or you don't respond at all. That's power. First thing you need to understand is this. Anger isn't caused by people, it's caused by expectations. You expect people to be fair, to be polite, to be self-aware, to act like adults. That expectation is the trap. Stoics didn't expect decency from the world. They prepared for disorder. Marcus Aurelius literally reminded himself every morning that he'd meet arrogant, selfish, dishonest people that day. Not because he was pessimistic, because he was realistic. When you expect chaos, chaos stops shocking you. Habit number 1 is killing unrealistic expectations. You don't expect drivers to be smart. You don't expect co-workers to be emotionally mature. You don't expect strangers to respect your time or your boundaries. You hope for the best, but you prepare for nonsense. And when nonsense shows up, you don't take it personally. You say, yep, there it is. No anger, no shock, no spiral. Because anger is just surprise mixed with entitlement. You think, they shouldn't act like this. Says who? The Stoic mind says, people act according to their nature and level of awareness. My peace doesn't depend on that. Once you drop the fantasy version of people, the real version stops bothering you. Second habit is learning to pause before reacting. This sounds basic. It's not. Most people live on emotional autopilot. Something happens, emotion fires, mouth opens, damage done. Stoics created space, a gap between stimulus and response. That gap is everything. When someone disrespects you, your body reacts first. Chest tightens, jaw clenches, adrenaline hits. That's biology, not weakness. The mistake is acting while that wave is peaking. The Stoic habit is delay. You breathe. You slow your speech. You do nothing for a second longer than feels comfortable. Because emotions are like waves. They rise. They peak. They fall. If you don't ride the peak, you don't wipe out. Most regret comes from fast reactions. Almost no regret comes from restraint. Silence is a cheat code. Someone throws shade. Pause. Someone tries to provoke you. Pause. Someone wants a reaction. Pause harder. You're not losing. You're choosing control. The moment you realize you don't have to respond instantly, you reclaim authority over your mind. Third habit is separating your self-worth from other people's opinions. This one hits deep. Most anger is ego pain. Someone criticizes you, and it's not the words that hurt. It's what they threaten. Your identity, your status, your image. Stoics didn't outsource their worth. If someone insults you and it's true, improve. If it's false, ignore it. Either way, there's no reason for anger. Think about that. If the criticism is accurate, anger is useless. If it's inaccurate, anger is pointless. So why get mad? Because the ego wants to defend its story. The Stoic trains the ego to shut up. You are not your reputation. You are not your past mistakes. You are not someone else's emotional projection. When someone lashes out, it usually has nothing to do with you. It's their frustration, their insecurity, their unresolved mess. You just happen to be nearby. Once you see that, insults lose their sting. You stop thinking, how dare they? And start thinking, that must be heavy to carry. Not sympathy, clarity. Fourth habit is focusing only on what's under your control. This is Stoicism 101, but almost nobody lives it. You can't control what people say. You can't control how they feel. You can't control whether they respect you. You can control how you interpret it, how you respond, what meaning you assign. Anger is often the result of trying to control the uncontrollable. You want people to understand you, to change, to apologize. That desire keeps you stuck. Stoics ask one brutal question: is this up to me? If the answer is no, they let it go. Not because they're passive, because they're strategic. Energy is limited. Why waste it on things you can't move? You don't argue with weather. You don't yell at gravity. So why argue with human nature? Once you stop fighting reality, your inner world gets quiet. Fifth habit is choosing your battles like a sniper, not a brawler. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every comment needs a response. Not every disrespect needs to be addressed. Most people exhaust themselves reacting to everything. Stoics conserve energy. They understand that reacting to nonsense puts you on the same level as nonsense. Silence can be louder than shouting. Walking away can be stronger than winning an argument. Sometimes the most dominant move is not engaging. You don't need to prove your strength. You need to protect it. Anger makes you predictable. Calm makes you untouchable. When people realize they can't get a reaction from you, they either respect you or disappear. Both are wins. Now here's the part nobody tells you. You don't wake up one day immune to anger. You train it daily, just like the gym. At first, you'll still feel irritation, still feel heat rise, still feel the urge to snap, but you don't obey it. Over time, the trigger weakens, the pause grows longer, the reaction fades, and one day you notice something crazy. Stuff that used to ruin your day doesn't even register anymore. You see people lose control and it looks foreign. Like watching someone argue with a wall. You're not numb. You're free. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Freedom is not being controlled by impulses. That's the Stoic flex. So the next time someone tries to get under your skin, remember this: they can only bother you if you hand them the keys. Don't. Train these habits. Live them. And watch how calm becomes your default. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger.